वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये शृण्वत स कथा कृष्ण पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तनः हृदन्तस्थो ह्यभद्राणि विदुनोति श्रेष्ठतां नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भगवत सेवया भगवति उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयति गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणम् Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 29, verse 68 and 69. Verse 68. Sarve kramanurodhena manasindriya gocharaha ayanti bahusho yanti sarve shamanasho janaha. Synonyms: Sarve, all, Krama Anurodhena, in order of chronology, Manashi, in the mind, Indriya, by the senses, Gocharaha, experienced, Ayanti, come, Bahushaha, in many ways, Yanti, go away, Sarve, all, Samanashaha, with the mind, Janaha, living entities. Translation and purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation: The mind of the living entity continues to exist in various gross bodies, and according to one's desires for sense gratification, the mind records different thoughts. In the mind, these appear together in different combinations. Therefore, these images sometimes appear as things never seen or never heard before. Purport: The activities of the living entity in the body of a dog may be experienced in the mind of a different body. Therefore, those activities appear never to have been heard or seen. The mind continues, although the body changes. Even in this lifespan, we can sometimes experience dreams of our childhood. Although such incidents now appear strange, it is to be understood that they are recorded in the mind. Because of this, they become visible in dreams. The transmigration of the soul is caused by the subtle body, which is the storehouse of all kinds of material desires. Unless one is fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness, material desires will come and go. That is the nature of the mind: thinking, feeling, and willing. As long as the mind is not engaged in meditation on the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, the mind will desire so many material enjoyments. Sensual images are recorded in the mind in chronological order, and they become manifest one after another. Therefore, the living entity has to accept one body after another. The mind plans material enjoyment, and the gross body serves as the instrument to realize such desires and plans. The mind is the platform onto which all desires come and go. Srila Narottam Das Thakura therefore sings, Gurumukha Padma Vakya Chittete Kariya Aikya Arana Kariya Mana Asa. Narottama Das Thakur advises everyone to stick to the principle of carrying out the orders of the spiritual master. One should not desire anything else. If the regulative principles ordered by the spiritual master are followed rigidly, the mind will gradually be trained to desire nothing but the service of Krishna. Such training is the perfection of life. Verse 69. सत्वैकनिष्ठे मनसि भगवत्पार्श्ववर्तिनि तमश्चन्द्रमाशिवेदम् uparajya vavashate. Synonyms: Sattva Ekanishte, in full Krishna consciousness, Manasi, in a mind, Bhagavat, with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Parshvavartini, being constantly associated, Tamaha, the dark planet, Chandramasi, in the moon, Eva, like Idam, this cosmic manifestation, Uparajya, being connected, Avavashate, becomes manifest. Translation and purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. Krishna consciousness means constantly associating with the Supreme Personality of Godhead in such a mental state that the devotee can observe the cosmic manifestation exactly as the Supreme Personality of Godhead does. Such observation is not always possible, but it becomes manifest exactly like the dark planet known as Rahu, which is observed in the presence of the full moon. Purport. It has been explained in the previous verse that all desires on the mental platform become visible one after another. Sometimes, however, by the supreme will of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the whole stockpile can be visible all at one time. In Brahma Samhita 5.54, it is said, Karmani nirdahati kintu cha bhakti bhajam. When a person is fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness, his stockpile of material desires is minimized. Indeed, the desires no longer fructify in the form of gross bodies. Instead, the stockpile of desires becomes visible on the mental platform by the grace of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In this connection, the darkness occurring before the full moon, the lunar eclipse, can be explained as being another planet known as Rahu. According to Vedic astronomy, the Rahu planet, which is not visible, is accepted. Sometimes the Rahu planet is visible in the presence of full moonlight. It then appears that this Rahu planet exists somewhere near the orbit of the moon. The failure of the modern moon excursionist may be due to the Rahu planet. In other words, those who are supposed to be going to the moon may actually be going to this invisible planet Rahu. Actually, they're not going to the moon, but to the planet Rahu. And after reaching this planet, they come back. Apart from this discussion, the point is that a living entity has immense and unlimited desires for material enjoyment, and he has to transmigrate from one gross body to another until these desires are exhausted. No living entity is free from the cycle of birth and death unless he takes to Krishna consciousness. Therefore, in this verse, it is clearly stated Sattvaikanisthe, that when one is fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness in one stroke, he is freed of past and future mental desires. Then, by the grace of the Supreme Lord, everything becomes simultaneously manifest within the mind. In this regard, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur cites the example of Mother Yashoda seeing the whole cosmic manifestation within the mouth of Lord Krishna. By the grace of Lord Krishna, Mother Yashoda saw all the universes and planets within the mouth of Krishna. Similarly, by the grace of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, a Krishna conscious person can see all his dormant desires at one time and finish all his future transmigrations. This facility is specially given to the devotee to make his path clear for returning home back to Godhead. Why we see things not experienced in this life is explained herein. That which we see in the future expression of a gross body or is already stocked in our mental stockpile. Because a Krishna conscious person does not have to accept a future gross body, his recorded desires are fulfilled in a dream. We therefore sometimes find things in a dream never experienced in our present life. End of purport. नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, I'm seeking blessings from all the assembled Vaishnavas. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to read Srimad Bhagavatam today morning to purify myself. I'll just summarize those two verses, verse 68 and 69. I have taken notes from various lectures, like lectures given by Srila Prabhupada, lecture given by my dear Guru Maharaj, and then other senior Vaishnavas. This is the continuation of talks between Narada Muni and King Prachinavarhi. Since last few chapters, we are since last few verses, we are reading about the mind. These verses describe how mind is the storehouse of all material desires. So we have two bodies, like gross body and subtle body. We all know that. Bhagavad Gita 7.4, and Krishna says, Bhumi rapo nalo vayu kham mano buddhirevacha ahankaratyam me vinna prakritir astadha. The earth, water, fire, air, ether, we know all these constitute the gross body, five elements. Then mind, intelligence, and false ego. These three constitutes the subtle body. So the very first statement in the purport, this verse 68, Srila Prabhupada describes the activities of the living entity in the body of a dog may be experienced in the mind of a different body. Therefore, those activities appear never to have been heard or seen. We have seen sometimes they, like the animals, they do some devotional activities. I've seen sometimes they take, like they do parikrama of the temple, and sometimes we see human beings, they do certain animalistic activities. So from where it comes, it's all because of the desires or impressions stored in the mind from many past lives. Mind is like unlimited hard disk, which stores not just textual data, but like pictures, videos, a very big size. You see this, like we use cloud storage to store the data, but everything, all these storage devices, they fell in front of our mind. So much of desires from millions of lifetimes. Sometimes we say, oh, I have a bad memory, I keep forgetting. Then how things pop up from like 10, 20, 30 years back, and even sometimes very new things, maybe from the past lives, because all these desires are stored in the mind. The root of all anartha is ignorance. Ignorance of what? Ignorance of, oh, like we forget who Krishna is, what is our relationship with Krishna. So once these things are clear, once root is clear, all anarthas will go away. Krishna says, Jivar Sarup hoy, Krishna Nitya Dasa. But we always want to be the master of everything. Krishna says we are the servant, but we always want to be the master. Krishna says this material world is dukkhalaya asaswatam. Morning 4:30 a.m. we sing Samsara Dava Nalaleda Loka, but we always want to fix things and make it a happy place. That is nothing but ignorance. The only reality is, we sing in Kevalastakam, Satyam Satyam, Punah Satyam, Harer Nama Eva Kevalam. The only thing that is reality, again I say reality, the holy name of Sri Hari alone is everything. So Bhagavad Gita says mind can be the friend and mind can also be the enemy. A cleansed mind is friend of oneself. Materially conditioned life means mind is covered with dirt. That is the disease. Mind is the cause of fall down, and using our mind will be liberated. Someone is getting, like, let's say someone is getting angry, someone is committing suicide, committing some crime. Because of what? Because of the disturbed mind, uncontrolled mind. Mind is like a knife. Why? Because we see a doctor uses it to operate and criminal uses it to kill someone. So we can also use our mind to liberate us, to go towards Krishna, or maybe like cause of our fall down. So mind is the sitting place of lust and desires. Lusty desires we cannot suppress, or we cannot even express or satisfy it completely. It's like a burning fire. Our real enemy is within, not outside. Our real enemy is the mind, which is within us, not outside, which is confirmed by Avanti Brahman in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 23, verse 42. Where Avanti Brahman, this chapter is the songs by Avanti Brahman. So in this verse, Avanti Brahman is saying, these people are not the cause of my happiness and distress. Neither are the demigods. My own body, the planets, my past work or time, nothing, actually, none of them are my enemies. Then, who is the real enemy? Rather, it is the mind alone that causes happiness and distress and perpetuates the rotation of material life. There are four states. One is Jagruti, when we are awake, then Swapna, the dream state, then Susupti, the deep sleep state. So, when we compare, let's say we are in when we're awake, like in Jagruti state. That means for us, Swapna and Susupti are not real. Then when we are Susupti state, like deep sleep, for us, Jagruti and Swapna are not real. Then what is the real state? The fourth level, that is known as Turiya. That is nothing but the Krishna Bhava Amrita state, which is explained in the next verse, in verse 69. So sometimes we daydream, sometimes night dream. That's why we sing the song by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Jiva Jago, Gaurachandra Bole, Kotha Nidra Jao Maya, Pisachira Kole. So, like we think we're awake, actually we're not awake. We're still like daytime, we're daydreaming, nighttime, night dreaming. Then how to awake? To be Krishna conscious. The very first dream is we think we are this body, like we think we are Indian or I'm American, I'm Russian. That's not the very first dream. So when someone is in Rajoguna or Tamoguna, the dirt is too much. So one has to raise oneself to Sattva by cleansing the mind. So how to cleanse the mind? So before starting of the Bhagavatam class, we chant, right? शृण्वतं स कथा कृष्ण पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तन हृदन्तोस्त ह्यवद्राणि विधुनोति श्रेष्ठतां नष्टप्रायशो भद्रेषु नित्यं भगवत सेवया भगवते उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. The process is we have to try to hear about Krishna Katha. See in Siksastakam, Chetodarpanamarjanam Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam, chanting of the holy name of Lord Krishna, which can cleanse the mirror of the heart and stop the miseries of the blazing fire of material existence. Human life is meant for the purification of our existence. Srila Prabhupada says Krishna consciousness means purify the desire. We cannot stop desires, but we have to. Desires will keep coming, but we have to purify those desires. How to purify the desires? To align our desires with Krishna's desire. So through bhakti, we have to purify the mind or the consciousness so soul can be delivered. Otherwise, what will happen? We have to take birth again and again in this material world. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 15.15, Sarvasya cham hridi sannivista mata smritir jnanam apohanam cho. So from Krishna, everything, He's seated in everyone's heart, and from Him comes remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. If we have a desire to remember Krishna, Krishna gives the facility. If we want to forget Him, that also He does. He is Sarvakarana Karanam. Without His mercy, even a blade of grass don't move. We have to remember, if we are chanting the holy name, that's also because only and only because of Krishna's mercy. Because of our rebellious nature, means to enjoy this separately from Krishna, we are here. Krishna has created this material world so we can fulfill our desires and try to go back Him. Not like so we can go back. Not that we have to, like, this material world is so beautiful, so we'll just stay here forever, birth after birth, and trying to exploit this material nature. It's not the purpose. The nature of the mind is thinking, feeling, willing. That's what is mentioned in the verse 68. As long as the mind is not engaged in meditation on the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, the mind will desire so many material enjoyments. Because of these desires, we have to accept the body one after another. The mind plans, and gross body is the instrument to realize these plans. It's mentioned in the purport that the mind continues, although the body changes. So we have to keep on cleansing the mind. The Lord is more anxious to take us back into his kingdom than we can desire. Most of us don't desire at all to go back to Godhead. Only very few men want to go back to Godhead. But anyone who desires to go back to Godhead, Krishna helps in all respects. So Srila Prabhupada mentioned in the purport about what Srila Narottam Das Thakur sings, Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chittete Karya Arana Karya Mane Asa. One should only stick to the principle of carrying out the orders of the spiritual master and should not desire anything else. That's how we can purify the mind. Our mind can concoct anything, right? So we have to follow our spiritual master's instructions every time. So in the this is something I realized like in the introduction of Krishna book. Now we are reading Krishna book in the evening with the kids. In the introduction, Srila Prabhupada has mentioned a very serious statement. It's mentioned that it is understood that one must be very fortunate to hear Krishna Katha as seriously as Maharaj Parikshit did. He was especially intent on the subject matter because he was expecting death at any moment. Every one of us should be conscious of death at every moment. This life is not at all assured. At any time, one can die. It does not matter whether one is a young man or an old man. So, before death takes place, we must be fully Krishna conscious. That's a serious statement, right? In verse 69, Srila Prabhupada describes Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur cites the example of Mother Yashoda seeing the whole cosmic manifestation within the mouth of Lord Krishna, right? By the grace of Lord Krishna, Mother Yashoda saw all the universes and planets within the mouth of Krishna. Similarly, by the grace of Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, a Krishna conscious person can see all his dormant desires at one time and finish all his future transmigrations. This facility is especially given to the devotee to make his path clear for returning home back to Godhead. This verse further says, why we see things not experienced in this life? Because a Krishna conscious person does not have to accept a future gross body. His recorded desires are fulfilled in a dream. We therefore sometimes find things in a dream never experienced in our present life. One very interesting thing we find, like we read in verse 69, that's why we have to read Srimad Bhagavatam. So many explanations, answers to all the inquiries is given about this. You see about this Rahu, it's mentioned that sometimes the Rahu planet is visible in the presence of full moonlight. It then appears that this Rahu planet exists somewhere near the orbit of the moon. The failure of modern moon like those people who are going to moon, maybe due to their failing, right? They say we did not find much. It may be due to the Rahu planet. In other words, those who are supposed to be going to the moon may actually be going to this invisible planet Rahu. You see, it's mentioned that actually they are not going to moon, but to the planet Rahu. And after reaching this planet, they come back. So I don't think we can find all these descriptions and explanations anywhere, like anywhere else in any other books. So that's why we have to read Srimad Bhagavatam every day. We already crossed the time. Sorry for taking 2 extra minutes. I would like to stop here. Vanchakalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhu vaivaccha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta koti vaishnava bhakta